it's a combination of, I'm sort of looking for a main piece, so to speak, but also I'm looking for a piece that I'm really dying to play. I've felt very, very close to Schubert's music for a long time, and when I wanted to, find things to do with the C minor sonata, I had several ideas that tied in with another idea that I had with his impromptus. I've often done the impromptus, that set of impromptus, along with Chopin impromptus, which I think are a little bit neglected as far as, there isn't much in Chopin that's neglected, but the impromptus are slightly more neglected than other pieces, and I think they're absolutely amazing pieces, and very different from the Schubert, which is what I like about them. I tend to look for pairings that both have things in common, but yet are, definitely a contrast, because obviously you don't want, too much of the same thing. And what I like about the difference between Chopin's impromptus and Schubert's, one of the things is, Schubert's, as in much of his music, you feel a lot about nature and a lot about the world at large. There are bigger vistas, if you will, and of course, inner turbulence. And in the Chopin impromptus, it's not so much the world of nature outside, it's more a salon conversation inside. And, so they're very, very different kinds of pieces, even though they share the same rather unusual title. And in the case of the C minor sonata, I thought of pairing it, if you want to call it a pairing, I'm not sure, because it's a very different size of piece, but the Chopin's own tarantelle, which actually is also not very often heard, but the main reason was, again, the contrast, the wild contrast between them. Schubert's sonata, of course, ends with the tarantelle movement that probably couldn't be more different from Chopin's tarantelle. Schubert's being a frantic, almost out of breath type of movement, as if somebody's running away in the woods from something really, really scary. And Chopin's, of course, is probably as close as he gets to being funny. We talked about humor, but Chopin is not necessarily about humor so much. But the tarantelle seems to be a little bit on the lighter side, for him at least. But definitely a very, very different kind of tarantelle from Schubert's. So. Right. Yeah, Gershwin's piece is half an insider's joke, if you will, for musicians, and half a salon piece. Very short, and he basically, it's as if it's in two keys. It's almost in two keys, really, for most of the time. The right hand being in D major and the left hand being in E flat, and of course their records. One of them wins at the end, but Gershwin did have a rather intellectual streak when it came to music theory. He loved these things. He loved to toy with all kinds of music theoretical ideas, and this is, I think, a small, very intimate example of that.